Marney an opportunity to tell us about Shelly Bean, the Sports Queen books.
I'm doing the Shelly. I thought Shelly was going to do Shelly's ad tonight.
Shelly said you should do it.
I've known Shelly for 50 years, and and when her books came out, and having known her just being a Lynx supporter and me doing some Lynx work, I immediately donated to her GoFundMe page, and to the level where you got the autographed, personalized copies. So I have the original series of books signed by Shelly to me, and I thought it was important. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old now, and a few years ago when the books came out, I thought it was important to read them to my daughter, and about 2 days of reading those books, it clicked like, this would be really important to read to my son.
Yes.
And so we read the books, and then they read the books. They've been used. It's a great message. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to expose to boys, to girls, to adults, to men, to women. I mean, it tells a great story, and Shelly Bean is my sports queen.
Yeah. And Shelly also has some good stuff in the works, right, Shelly? I don't know where we are in the process of there's a possibility that you'll find Shelly Bean, the sports queen, on Netflix. So she's doing some good work there. So keep supporting it.
And we'll just hope that she still talks to us when she's even a bigger deal, because we don't want to lose her. So if you're interested, go to ShellyBeanTheSportsQueen.com, enter code LynxCoachReeve at checkout, and you'll get 15% off the cover price. Check out the new 5-pack, the Shelly Bean poster, become a member of the fan club, and much more. And on the next show, I'll tell you a little more of the nuts and bolts about the Shelly Bean Sports Queen series. I just wanted to give Marney a chance to shout it out. Hey, Rebekkah Lobo, I want to make sure I got this, a friend of the program. Rebekkah Lobo will have her number 50 jersey retired at UConn, along with Ray Allen's number 34 in early March. Both are members of their Huskies Hall of Honor inaugural class. I just wanted to say thank you because Rebekkah's been on the program before, and she's a great announcer, great person. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I just saw her recently. I always enjoy my conversations with Rebekkah. She's about as witty as they come. If you haven't had a chance to listen to her podcast with her husband, it's a really good one. She just she's got kids, and so she addresses life being married to Steve and adventures with the kids and just funny life things. So she has great perspective. She's a great fan of the WNBA, obviously, having played in the league, but she's somebody that we need. We need her voice because I think she gets it, and congratulations to Rebekkah.
Absolutely. Marney, tell me about your career. I'm leaving it open. You do a great job, but it also seems like you like your time at home too. It's like
I do. Well, for example, the Timberwolves left today on a 10-day road trip, and I ain't on it. I took 2 road trips off this year. Leah B. Olson, our wonderful Lynx analyst. Yes,
we love Leah too. Yep.
She likes to do a handful of games, like 10 or less, and she doesn't mind doing them in a chunk, which a road trip gives you. And so, so she's there, and that's why I am going home tonight to my husband and my 8-year-old and my 10-year-old, and that is important. But I've been in the business since 96 when I graduated college and worked in Bismarck at KXMB TV 12, your eye on Dakota. And here comes my beer.
Oh, we're getting Marney some beer. This is going to be a 3-hour show.
Thank you, Carly. Cheers.
I got to be home by midnight.
Where was I? So I worked in Bismarck, local station as a sports reporter, weekend sports anchor for a year and a half, moved to Grand Forks, North Dakota, and worked at WDAZ, Channel 8, your home team, for 2 years as the same role as a sports reporter, weekend anchor. Madison, Wisconsin, WISC, TV3, informed, involved, in touch. For 3 years, moved here to Fox Sports North 16 years ago.
Well, 16 years ago.
And I've done sort of different things. I used to host like the Gopher men's basketball show and Glenn Mason's show and the Timberwolves. And
you survived Glenn Mason. Not many people do.
I came out scarred, but I survived. So then Timberwolves has kind of been my main beat. Took time off to have 2 babies, but worked Twins, Lynx, a little bit of Wild here and there.
What's your favorite thing to do?
Just wherever they throw me.
Yeah, Marney, what's your favorite thing to do?
Cheryl Reeve podcast.
Not that I'm putting you on the spot.
Have a sip. Marney, let's talk about the evolution of FSN and the Minnesota Lynx. How have you seen the coverage grow, and what do you foresee going forward?
Well,
it got hot in here, didn't it? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
beers for everybody.
I feel like, well, what I tried to do was lobby for playoff games from the very start. I thought, like, we could do what we could do with the regular season, get games on broadcast. That it's all tied into a Timberwolves sales package. And I don't understand all of the sales elements all the time.
Yeah.
And so I've always lobbied for more games and kind of hit a dead end until playoffs. And I thought, well, I mean, this is where it has to be. And now there are so many outlets that ESPN has exclusive rights to playoffs because they're on every arm of ESPN. And so I keep hitting brick walls in trying to advance this and come up with ideas of how do we get more links on FSN.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be in the regular season, and I think, that the challenge that we've heard is obviously the cost of producing the game, right? That's the biggest expense. And, it's the narrative we hear all the time. It's hard to sell, it's just too expensive. And I think the frustrating part for people in women's sports is that I don't know that the effort is there to really understand who to sell to really dedicate the time to doing what you need to do to be able to be committed to being the team that broadcasts the 4-time champion. And what hurts me is the LA Sparks have a season package with Fox Sports, I think it is. And
do they now?
They do.
I feel like I'm in trouble here.
Not at all. Like, we're just having dialogue.
Okay. I'm getting real nervous.
I'm trying to learn. No, I think it's, I said it tongue-in-cheek. I know Marney would love to have every single Minnesota Lynx game on. And,
that's true.
I'd like to find ways, obviously all 34 games would be great. I think our fans, we have such a great fan base that the home games, we kind of got covered by them coming out to see us. I think they would love to see road games.
And we do pick up where we can, like your Atlantas.
Exactly.
So I do think that they made an effort in that. And last year, remember, we started having games on Twitter.
Yes.
We started on the app, and that's where everything is going.
And that's the great thing, timing-wise,
yes,
that there's way to consume, the sport, women's sports. So
how about those waffles?
Yeah. These are things we like to talk about here on the podcast.
Getting intense.
Marney's going to take a long drink here. I'll throw something topical at you.
Okay.
Derek Fisher being hired by the Sparks, and not only did they hire a man, they didn't interview anybody else. If the news reports I've read are accurate, and I actually think Toller admitted that. Your thoughts?
Me or Marney?
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Marney looks like she needs a break. Oh, Rebekkah's
here.
The
next guest might be on the
Brunson's
horizon. Maybe I should give up my headset here.
Let's hear it for Rebekkah pounding out those waffles.
The WNBA's all-time leading rebounder and the only player with 5 championship rings, Rebekkah Brunson. By the way, thank you very much, Marney, and you're welcome for getting you out of here before you got in too much trouble. Marney's going to finish her beer. Rebekkah, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing all this good work. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for coming, everybody. It's awesome.
This is the stuff that fills Rebekkah's heart right here, what we're doing. So, obviously, she loves basketball and has made a life of it, but this type of work is what fills Rebekkah up and what makes her really, really special, and have just enjoyed having her a part of my life for a better part of 8 years now. This is the stuff that makes us really proud. Way to go.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
We'll take a break from the Derek Fisher question for just a second.
Yeah, because we were talking about
unless you had a thought.
Well, we had a contract. That's what we were talking about. They want to know if you're coming back, if you're going to play again. So that's what we were talking about.
I'm working towards it. I'm trying to keep this thing moving.
But I said let you focus on the waffles right now. So
just for the day, please.
Well, I'll just ask a simple question. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. My body feels good. So it's a long ways away from the season. But, I'll always try to keep myself in the best shape possible.
That's great, yeah. I don't keep myself in as good a shape as Rebekkah does. I try, but she's been far more committed to that.
Tell me about your relationship. I mean, you obviously have close bonds with a lot of your players, and you and Rebekkah have been through a lot together.
We have. Yeah, just what I just described just a little bit ago is probably the epitome. I think that I rely heavily on Rebekkah for her perspective. I'm always blown away with how simple she can break it down and how easy and obvious it is to her. And so I've really, really relied on Rebekkah. I always go back to our first year together in 2010. And sorry if you guys have heard this story before, but we're trying to win games, and I'm trying to, I'm getting heckled by the crowd a little bit, and we're trying to win and try to change things, and we're not quite getting it done. And it's a 6 a.m. I think we were probably on a back-to-back or something. We had to get up at 6 a.m. and get on a flight, and we had just lost the night before, and so I did a captain's gathering at the airport. It's like 6 a.m., it's like the last thing they want to do, and so we gather them, and I want to hear from them, and maybe they each say something, and I get to Rebekkah, and Rebekkah says, "Coach, I just don't think we're good enough." And I thought, God damn, she's right. Like it's that easy. We just weren't. We weren't doing the right things. That we weren't trying. It wasn't. But we ultimately, the roster wasn't good enough to win some of the games that we were trying to win. It wasn't our time. And that became really apparent to me, obviously, when we got to 2011, and then we have our run where it was our time. And obviously we were good enough. So, and I've just, that's a small sample of what I've relied on for Rebekkah to kind of help me navigate this team at different times. And just, really special. Rebekkah has five rings. Ask her why she doesn't have 6.
Why don't you have 6 rings?
She always bringing
one of
up
my favorite
old
stories.
stuff, right? This is way, way in the past.
In 2000,
Can I blame some refs for the loss we
referees.
took to L.A.?
Well, that's a good reason why you don't have 5. That's exactly
that
right.
One? I'll
yeah.
take that one.
Yeah, we'll keep that be the story. The Detroit Shock beat the Sacramento Monarchs in
We were this close.
2006 at Joe Louis Arena. It was a heck of a series. It was a really great
Deanna
series.
Nolan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and Planette Pearson. Planette Pearson had a heck of a game in Game 5.
She did.
Were you guarding her?
I'm not sure.
No, yeah, I don't know if you
I'm
were.
not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I was a little baby though. I was still a little wet behind the ears, getting my feet in there. But oh man, that was rough. That was a great series though.
That was a heck of a
basketball.
series. Heck of a series. Tisha Penachero, Yolanda Griffith, Rebekkah Brunson. So yeah.
So you really came close to having 7 rings.
Close.
Man.
Very close. But I think there are probably a lot of players that say they were close and doesn't really matter.
See what I mean about perspective? Like, she's just smart. She just gives it to you.
One thing that's really noticeable this year is when you weren't on the court, the other team had much easier time scoring. And I'm wondering, what is the key to playing defense the way you play it? Is it physical? Is it mental? Is it experience? What gives you the edge?
Oh, gosh. It's all of those things. But it takes a certain amount of not giving in and determination to play defense every play. It's not as simple as it sounds. Because those great players, those players that are going to try to get their 30, they're hungry, and they want to get there, and they want to score. So you have to be just as hungry as those players to say you're not going to do it. I'm going to stop you, but it's a little bit of everything, a little bit of physicality. There's a lot that goes into it mentally and understanding who you're guarding and who you're playing against. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but I take a lot of pride in my defense.
There's a few players, Alina Deladon, Tina Charles, who I spent some time with over in Tenerife at the World Cup, that are they message me nearly every day about Rebekkah's decision, because when she leaves, then they're going to be able to score 30 on the Minnesota Lynx. So they're going to be throwing the retirement party.
Well, let's hope they
It's
don't
true
throw
story,
it
Tina.
anytime
I mean,
soon.
I'm telling you, Tina said Rebekkah Brunson's the hardest player to play against of any player she's ever played against. So, yeah, I told her she can do that till she's 50, whether she wants to or not. But she has it in here. Big heart, relentless.
So for all the accomplishments, does one moment or one accomplishment rise above the others? Or do you have a favorite memory?
It's all about the journeys, really. It's all about all the work that you have to put into to get to where you want to be. It's all of those days when you're not trying to practice, when you don't want to be there, but you find a way to come together as a group and get better. Those are the things that you remember. The championship, that's one night you remember, and then it's great, and you celebrate, but there's a lot of moments that happen in between those. So it's all about those things that you do and the time that you spend with people that you care about.
You two ever get mad at each other?
You guys didn't want to be at practice? I didn't.
I mean,
I thought every day was like we loved.
Once we got out there and started going, but some mornings now I had to have about 3